Hey guys, Alex here from Homeschool of Bel Air. On today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys an updated room tour for our next school year. If you guys are interested to see what kind of changes I've made for 2021-2022 school year, stay tuned. All right, guys, so the best way to begin is always going to be at the entrance. So now this is the entrance to our schoolroom. Our schoolroom is a loft style room. It sits right over the garage and in part of our dining room. And the first thing you see when you enter the schoolroom is a closet and a shelf. This shelf here holds all of our art supplies. I am not going to go super in depth with our art supply shelf, mainly because I recently did a video on all of our art resources and I go pretty in depth with this shelf here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to link that video in the description box. So if you guys are curious to know also about all the art projects that we have going on here, if you want to know more information about all this, I'll go ahead and link that video in the description box. So go ahead and look for that. So I'm going to go ahead and move on. Behind this closet, I think I also share with you guys what I have in that closet in that video, but it's just extra supplies, whether it be paper, bins, anything like that is in there. So one of the changes that I did with this storage unit here is that this unit here is pretty interchangeable. So what I did was I interchanged these two bins here and I made the fronts on this side, and that is now where I keep the boys' work. The workbox system was just starting to become too much of a clutter up here. So what I ended up doing was I just kind of accumulated all of Vincent's work and I just stuck it in here. So this is all of his curriculum. And then the bottom one is all of Adrian's curriculum, and that is what he's working out of. So right on top of there, I also added a little storage bin. Now this storage bin here houses just crayons and just extra supplies that we don't use all the time, but they have available if they need to use it. The majority of the stuff is to use with their Spelling UC. Spelling UC comes with these kind of color pencils. The boys aren't huge fan of those, so I got them these crayons, and then I got them some highlighters that they're able to use with that Spelling UC, and it works the same way. So Vincent has his own, and then Adrian has his own, and then there's just an extra one for anything, just extra storage. I also added a bit step stool here because we're all pretty short and this container here is pretty high. So I just leave it there so that it's easy to access those two little bins. This unit has a bunch of just extra supplies. So we have extra pencils, crayons, scissors, things like that. I have all of my pocket charts in this one. I have my comb binding stuff in that one. I have folders and extra paper, notebooks. These are some of my laminator sheets. Things like that are all going to be in this storage unit. Now, right on top of that, I also have these two bins. These two bins have all of our completed work or just anything that the boys or Evelyn are completing for the school year. So everything's going to be in these two bins. Move over to this side. So on this side, this is mostly Evelyn's stuff. Now, Evelyn has about an hour every day in the mornings to kind of just do her own thing. So she knows that she can come over here and grab whatever puzzles I add to her Collapse unit to keep busy with. So a lot of this stuff is just hands-on puzzles and spelling, little activities, things like that that she can just kind of keep busy with. So that is what we have inside this Collapse unit. On top of that, she also has her paints and some of that drawing paper. She has crayons. She has her little supply caddy with color pencils, crayons, scissors, glues, anything that she can possibly need. She also has this gigantic notepad that if she just feels like drawing or coloring, whatever she feels like doing, she can, like I said, she has a whole hour in the mornings to kind of do her own thing. So next to that, we also have her workbox system. Now, all her curriculum for the school year is in this little unit. If you guys want to see anything more in depth, because I am going to try to go a little faster on this video so that it doesn't become a super long video, just let me know in the comment box if you guys want to see anything more in depth. So let me go ahead and pan this way. So now here we have our this is a Collapse unit. This Collapse unit, on top of it, is mainly for Evelyn. This is where we keep all the sight words that she's working on, whatever vocabulary word she has for the week, or whatever phonics sounds that she's working on. Everything's just going to be posted there so we can review. Inside the bins, we have the boys have their history binders, a map that we sometimes put up on the wall. This is just extra drawing pads for Evelyn and some readers that she can easily read also. Next to that, we have some draw and write for our Friday work. And then Evelyn has a little sentence building activity. And then next to that, all this stuff here is just hands-on manipulatives for spelling or for my pocket charts, anything like that. Below that, we have our little charging station. This is where we have all of our computers, and they're just sitting in here charging. There's 3 of them there. Each one of the kids has their own computer. Next to that, we have some coding books, and then we have some headphones back there. Next to that, we have stamps. We tend to use stamps, manipulatives for math also, as well as for spelling. So anything like that is going to be inside these bins, along with some stamp pads or ink pads. Next to that, we just have some overflow of some of the puzzles that Evelyn can work on. We also have extra magnetic letters. And then inside this bin is mostly Evelyn's like phonics hands-on activities that if she doesn't feel like doing bookwork, I just grab stuff from in here and she can work on that. Okay, so let me go ahead and show you guys the next Calax unit. This little white Calax unit is our little math manipulative unit. This has anything just having to do with math. We have a little weight scale thing. We have a little register, a little rick and rack, clock, and then basically everything is as it's labeled. So we have pattern, Unifix cubes, counters, anything like that are inside these bins. More fraction type of manipulatives, more counters. Down here we have clocks, anything having to do with like Judy clocks and time telling type of things. Next to that, we have some of the things that we kind of just grab that we're using a lot more this school year. So Evelyn uses these a lot for addition and subtraction. And Adrian is working a little bit with place values. So a lot of the place value stuff is right back there. And then we have some money, some fractions. And then this is just extra math manipulatives, just overflow or just other things that we don't use as much. So that is that little Calax unit. Next to that, we do have our nature area. Our nature area is probably one of our favorite areas in the schoolroom. We have everything from snake skins to crazy root-like things that we find, shells, little beehive type things, or I think these are for the wasps. I'm not sure. Some cicada shells, and we actually recently found an actual cicada. There it is. And then we have fish bone, we have duck bones, we have all sorts of awesome things that the kids find. And we have this awesome little park right across the street that has a creek and a lake. So we tend to find a lot of things in that area, believe it or not. We actually always find these really cool snake skins. We actually recently found a turtle shell that we are actually letting it sit outside for a little while just to kind of have the bugs clean it out. But we're pretty excited. We found that a couple weeks ago, so we can't wait to bring it up. I have to wash it up a little bit. So next to that, we also have a huge chalkboard and another Calax unit. This Calax unit has my construction paper right on top. I also have my handwriting without tear chalkboard. We don't use handwriting without tears anymore, but I love this little chalkboard, and we tend to use it quite a bit. All of my chalk is there. This first bin has a lot of my die cut or paper cutouts. We use these for flashcards. I have Evelyn make her own flashcards out of these. And then we have a bunch of other flashcards and blank index cards down here. The next one is just stuff that Evelyn has somewhat outgrown that we don't use very much, but I still leave it accessible for her. She knows all this stuff is in here, so if she wants to play with it, she knows she can get it out. The last bin here has our history pocket. The Evan Moore history pockets incorporated to our history lessons. And the kids love making these. So we have the American Revolution one, Native Americans, the American Civil War, and then moving west. We didn't do too much of the moving west because we moved kind of fast through that with our history, but all of these were so much fun to complete, and the boys love going back and looking through them. Okay, so now that takes me down to our little new reading nook area. And I'll start with this shelf here. The first shelf just kind of has some extra school supplies. This one is the boys' supply caddy. So this is, they know they can come and grab this and take it to their table. They have their pencils, scissors, glue, pens, highlighters, things like that that they use on a regular basis. Under that, we have glitter pens. They love to use glitter pens, markers to complete some of their work. And I'm totally for it because I feel like it makes it funner for them to complete their work. So here we have glitter pens. We have Crayola markers, the thin ones, the thick ones. And then we have watercolors and color pencils. They also have bins of crayons. And then they have their reading journals here. And next to that is where we start our little library area. So this little unit here, now this is not a Collax unit from IKEA. This is actually from Walmart. It's a lot smaller than the 13 by 13. This one houses a lot of our readers and some of our Dover coloring books and just things like that. So that is what that one has. On top of that, I use that for our history lessons. Anything that we're learning in history that whatever topic we're on, all the books, I'll display them up here. This tends to change depending on the topic based on our history. So these do change out. Next to that is our big bookshelf area. Now this big bookshelf I built myself sometime in late spring, I think it was. And mainly my main goal was to be able to have room for growth now that the kids are getting older. So that's exactly what I did. I just made shelves that I could easily add to. I could easily add shelves on this side and add more books. I could easily move all this stuff and add more books. And that's really what I wanted. I wanted to be able to grow our library. So the top two shelves are mostly just chapter books. We have anything from the Who Was series to some Magic Tree House and then regular chapter books. This next middle shelf here has a lot of our historical nonfiction books, picture books and nonfiction books, I should say. So that's that whole unit there. And then this unit here has reference books. So it's basically reference books for myself, or there's dictionaries and atlases, science, nonfiction type of resource books. Anything like that is going to be all here. The bottom shelf is all of our picture books. So those are all, and I put them down at the bottom so it's easy for Evelyn to just grab whatever picture books she feels like looking through or reading, or attempting to read, I should say. So all that stuff is down there. Now that brings us over to this corner here. This corner has my new little comfy read aloud chair. The boys love to use this also for any kind of silent reading, anything like that. So that is a nice little addition to our schoolroom. Next to that is a little mini Collax unit. This Collax unit has most of our science type of units that we're working on this school year. So this top bin here has all of our evolution books. This one has our human bodies that we haven't tapped into yet, but we're going to start it as soon as we're done with evolution. And then under that, we have all of our nature study and then some of our highlight magazines. Again, I put them at the bottom because Evelyn loves to look through those magazines. So over here we have our table. Now this is our big work table. Evelyn sits here, I sit there, and the boys sit there. All these chairs are from IKEA. I don't know the exact names of all of them. I think this one is called the Urban from IKEA. I did not buy it at IKEA though. This one I actually found at Goodwill for like $3. Those were like $70 at IKEA, and they were more of a lighter wood, kind of like the little Lazy Susan. I did have to stain them so they match the table a little bit more. And then behind my area, I do have a little cart. This is a cart that I use on a regular basis with all of my supplies. I have my teacher guide, all of my teacher guides. I have extra printables for different lessons that we do. I have my my planner, stickers, my glasses, paper clips, the remote for the AC unit, my Happy Planner stickers, washi tape down there, the Happy Planner puncher, markers, the Wordly Wise cards, and then some extra supplies down there. So that is what I have in my cart. I'm also, let me go ahead and show you guys real quick what we have in this closet. This closet is just an overflow of games. And I also have a lot of our educational games are in here, and then coloring books and things like that. We also use this for other things like our old CDs and DVDs and VHS that are way up there. So this is why we keep it behind a little curtain because it's not very pretty. So behind there is my my teacher area. This is my desk area. I have my desk, I have my printer paper. I did end up purchasing the Epson Eco Tank. They had it on sale at Costco, and at the time I was actually between printers. So my husband had actually purchased the Lexmark for me. The only thing with the Lexmark is I love it, but it only prints in black and white. And I ended up keeping both because sometimes when I print out teacher guides and things like that, they're usually just in black and white, and this prints out really pretty and really fast. So I ended up keeping it. And then obviously my Epson color printer, which I absolutely love. And again, we got that at Costco when they were having it. I think it was like $300, but it came with like a bunch of ink, and it was just such a great deal. I have yet to buy any ink for it, FYI, and I have printed a ton of stuff. Actually, for both of these, I've printed out a bunch of manuals and a bunch of curriculum, and I've yet to change the printer or the ink out. Okay, so let me go ahead and move on. Here we have some extra curriculum that we actually... I think I've mentioned it before. I'm going to have to make a whole other video updating you guys on our curriculum picks because I've changed and added a lot of things. So this is actually the Michael Clay Thompson language arts curriculum that we started using a couple of weeks ago, and we absolutely love it. And I keep it here mainly because we're doing it together with the boys. Both boys are doing it together, I should say. And it's just easier for me to grab the books and take them to the table than have them keep it in their bin. So it's just easier. So I just keep it there. Up here, I have all of just like my extra mom supplies and things like that. Now behind this area is a bookshelf. Now this bookshelf here houses all of our curriculum, anything that we've used in the past, anything that we possibly haven't started yet or didn't work, whatever it might be, all that stuff is back here. But yeah, this is my little curriculum shelf, and it's just kind of in that little corner nook. Okay, that little unit there is our little goodie store. We do have an incentive program. The kids get these little chips, and every time they get a certain amount of chips, they can trade it in for fake money. And with that fake money, they can buy things out of our little store. And it's just stuff from the Dollar Tree. But they get really excited to spend their money that they saved up. And it's teaching them to save money. And it's also teaching them how to spend their money and get change back and things like that. So that is our little incentive program. If you guys want to hear more about that, just let me know again in the comments, and I'll do a video just on that. So I think that is it. I think that covers our schoolroom. If you guys have questions on anything or comments or anything, please feel free and let me know. If you guys want to see something more in depth, again, just let me know and I will film whatever it is that you guys want to see more thorough of. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.